relate to my own life. Um, but yes, I am back today, and it is, I believe, August 23rd, 2019. We're going to do better at documenting the day's date and so on. So, anyways, I had started the live at, what time is it right now? 10:20 something. I meant to start right at 10:25, but almost was late. And so here we are. And so everybody that watched last night's live when I was expressing my love and admiration for Sella, who's passed, from our choir, Divine Heritage, and inviting those who are seeking truth to go to the choir. If you're not gonna look up the website, as far as for the world labels us as Mormons, but we are actually members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so that's just a little highlight of what we talked about last night. And but today there are so many things I want to talk about. And one, what I just mentioned, which is that we want to document every time I come live, like what day is it? So, like months from now or years from now, I'll know, like, oh, okay, I remember where I was at that point of my life. And when the date is actually shared, then I'll know exactly what I was doing and how I was feeling at that time. So let's see. A few things that I started off my day thinking about was about value, because this week has been how to commit to self-love, how to commit to self-healing, and in ways that aren't self-destructive. And so I wanted to talk about value, and I was thinking about all the times, like all last year, when I was like pushing for this to blow up and to gain followers and to make an impact on people. And I remember like doing the lives in my car, doing it in the apartment when I was living out in Utah County. And it's just, for me, now that I am getting more comfortable in actually working and chipping away at what my value is, that's why I want to start off with that. And don't mind me when I get distracted or look the other way, because I'm trying to not lose my train of thought. So when I was thinking of value this morning, I was like, okay, never did I want to be boxed in as someone aspiring to be an influencer. I never wanted to be an influencer. What I wanted to, and what I want now, is truly to make impact. Like on those heroes that I told you guys about before. I think it was Tuesday that I mentioned my heroes. I don't have a list of that. But in thinking of that today, I was like, man, I hate being boxed in. Like when artists say, I don't want to just be boxed into one genre of music, or I don't want to be boxed in as to being one type of athlete. Like if you think about Michael Jordan, he started off at basketball, he went to baseball, and then he came back to basketball. That's how I feel with my advocacy work. And it makes so much more sense now that I've been using this week to process why that, no matter how many times I told you guys, like, there's so much value in what I have to say. And if you would just come to my workshops, if you would just let me present with you, if you would just see me, and like it was such a big cry for people just to see me. Um, it was a eye opener today that even though I am not getting the response as quick as I wanted, it feels so good to know that I can admire people and and take not to take to steal from their from how they present or how um, they run things. I would never do that. I would never, and I would, if I wanted to take anything, I would always ask permission, of course, because I know how it feels to have somebody do that and duplicate and, all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, it feels so good to finally like be in touch that now that I am seeing my value, that it's okay if no one else sees it. And so I might have touched on this last night, but I don't want to like beat it and like beating a dead horse over and over and sounding like a broken record about that. But why I bring that up is like those of you who are wanting to do speaking engagements and not knowing how and who to turn to or who to trust. What I would say that I've found in the last week that's so beneficial is just do the lives first. Just jump on. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't try to be a copycat, because copycats, they run out, and then you have no content, and then that will tempt you to steal from people. So don't do that. But just, if you can take a week or a few days, like I've only been on this journey of like really seeing my worth. Like I said, I've been like pushing people. Okay, so I'm 40. I've been pushing people to see themselves and know that, and most times, like maybe 9 out of 10, because there's always that one that's a hard hit, but like 9 out of 10 people that I've ever encouraged, they they've seen their value, they've internalized it, and they've like moved on, and they've blossomed. I've seen them blossom. And so I would say, like, if you don't want to be boxed in as an influencer, and if you don't want to stay stagnant like how I was, in pushing forward, start with the lives. Start with the lives, get comfortable. Like, I still have, like, I'm more comfortable today than ever, um in like looking right at you guys, because in person, like, I'm all about eye contact, and I have to like watch sometimes when I'm speaking to people, is that because they might not be comfortable with eye contact, and so it's weird for me, like, whenever I look around or look other places, when I'm really just trying to connect with you guys. But I would say, if you're wanting to start this journey and you need something like this to, boost your confidence and just boost your self-esteem, start with the lives, um, and just show your personality. So that was one thing, was value. And then I was like, okay, now that I'm getting the hang of practicing what I preached all these years to these people about putting God first, letting God's words only validate you. Now that I'm internalizing it more so than I was before, because it was more of a belief before, but today it is a knowledge that everything that I've ever said to anybody in the capacity to get them out of their rut or out of their self-loathing, I finally, it's clicking in within me. And so it's easier to talk to you guys, and it's easier for me to talk to myself, even though nobody's online, which is probably why it's easier for me to look at the camera and as if people are online. But the second, or the B of value, like there's that A where I told you just now all that spiel, but the B for me for value was I don't have to try to convince you that I believe in my value. I don't have to try to convince you about anything about my message. You have to convince yourself. And that was a big aha moment today. And so I started off saying, like, Oprah, who's one of my like favorite go-to people, she had an interview and somebody asked her, like, how did you last so long? Like, your show, I believe it was like 25 years plus. And she said, I never wanted feedback about my competition. All I did was keep moving forward. I stayed in my lane. I didn't look to the left or to the right. I didn't look how far ahead I needed to be. I just kept going. I didn't look back. And I feel like that's so helpful, whether you want to be an influencer or you want to be a public speaker or you just want to live, is to stop self-sabotaging yourself and comparing yourself. And I don't feel like I have been comparing myself in the last month. My whole thing in the last month was the I wanted things to just happen, hurry up and happen for me, and hurry up and see me with people. But now it's just like the urgency is there for me to to put out content, but the humility and the gratitude that I feel, it's just I'm more like going with the flow. Like I've had that told to me, like, oh well, you just need to go with the flow, and it finally feels good that I am feeling centered every day. And you guys, and that was another thing. You guys are a big reason I'm able to get centered, is because if I didn't push myself to come and talk to you guys, I would still be like how it was on, I think it was Monday, when I freaked out about the whole not knowing what I wanted out of my advocacy work and just where I was going. And so I gotta thank you guys, my friends, my family, those that I've just barely met and I'm trying to network with, is that thank you. Thank you for taking the time, even if it's 2 seconds, because I'm very long winded. And once I start talking about something that I love, I will go on for days. I'm not that live where it's only like from 5 to maybe 15 minutes. I will go a straight hour, and maybe within the hour, there's no structure or like order, but such is life. Like, I think for me, being religious, but then also being human, and having the natural woman in me wanting to do things on my own and the way I want to do things. The other thing that has been so helpful about getting centered is that we believe in the gospel that God's always about order. Everything is in order. But then, like, okay, for instance, when I was on my mission, I served in Los Angeles, California. I went right back home. But they had a sister serve on the beach area, so all of Redondo Beach, El Segundo, Torrance, San Pedro, and I was upset because I felt like I was gonna go out there to share the gospel and help people that come from low budget income families, and I just wanted to be in the ghetto because I felt like I would be more effective there. But what I learned was that truly, like, what God's thoughts are are not my thoughts, are not your thoughts. His thoughts are higher than ours. But not only that, is that even though we had a schedule, so we would wake up at 6:30, and if you had a companion, like mine's, all of mine's were like these fit, like, and this is why I'm fatty, but these fit sisters that loved to run. I swear I had like every companion except a couple that didn't care if we went to exercise, but like majority, and I had 13, and that's ridiculous for a sister to have 13. But a few of them I had two companions, and um others it just happened to be. So I was considered the trouble sister, like, but really I don't feel like that was just a, yeah, label they like to tease me with. But what was it, what were we getting to? Oh, God's order. So even though we had a schedule, we always had a backup plan. And this is probably why my life has been the way it's been for the last, I think, man, I've been home. I want to say I've been home 16, anywhere from 12 to 16 years I've been home. I'm not good at math, so whatever. Um, but we would have the schedule, wake up 6:30, and every minute was planned out. But we would, like I'm saying, is that even though Heavenly Father has an order and we prayed as companions to follow where we felt like He was inspiring us to go to, we always had a backup plan. And even when that backup plan would fall through, we always met the person we were supposed to meet at the very moment that we were supposed to meet them. And so, in getting centered, um, and walking this journey with you guys as I'm making lives every day, it's been it's been so humbling, but also it's been like an eye opener to not regret that, even though my natural woman side of me feels like, oh, now you're just waking up to basic things that you already knew you should have been doing. Um, Instead of beating myself up about up about it, um, I just I choose every day, like when something negative goes down, or I choose every day from Monday to have gratitude for what I'm going through, because to have resentment and to have um, anger um, and just depression, if you get that far and like falling back, it's no use, no use at all. And so that was the A and B of value. My takeaway was today is that I don't need to be anybody but myself. I don't need to allow people to box me in whatever I'm trying to achieve. And I need to live in a sense of gratitude when hard things come, when hurt comes, when pain comes, because even though that comes, it's going to pass. It's going to pass, but it only stays longer when I choose to be negative about it, or I choose to um, want things my way. Um, Other than value, I'm trying to think. So I know in our culture, in the Pacific Islander culture, family is everything. Um, we as Pacific Islanders, or at least the ones that I know, we have hard times with boundaries. And I was spending some time with my parents before I came up on this, and I was just it. The conversation sparked thoughts of like why certain people are driven in life to get money, and how that can sometimes overshadow the importance of family. But then when you're in a family and you want to have all that money because you want to take care of everybody. I think I was living here. I think I was like 16, maybe 14, anywhere from 14 to 16. And I remember we were going through some hard times, family issues, and I was just like, because I've always had a testimony of prayer, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I want to lift all of everyone's pain so that they can't feel it. And then I started ignorantly trying to take on everybody's pain. So I was, in a sense, of an enabler, because somebody like would tell me a problem, and then to show my love to them, I thought that I would have to, like, if somebody had a issue with their boyfriend, and they're like, "Oh, I hate him," and then I would be right there and like, "Yeah, I hate him too." But I was just trying to show that relative or that friend that I I was showing sympathy instead of empathy, because empathy, you can feel what somebody is feeling without unhealthily in an unhealthy way, try to take on their problems. Because what I've found and experience is that when you try to carry everybody's problems, you not only add to your own problems, but you get burnt out real quick. And I, like, for a majority of my life, from that age 16, 14 and 16, I was that person. I'd always, people would say, "Oh, you feel everything, you feel strong about everything." I have my bestie Carol. She's like, "Oh, everything with you is strong," and she never means it in a negative content, but or context. But it's heavy when you feel everything and you try to carry everybody's problems, because in reality, the only person, and I'm just coming from a religious like standpoint, the only person that could carry all that pain and burden and feelings of anything is Christ. Christ's atonement. Now we can help guide people to Christ. We can help people to talk to their church leaders and possibly get them the counsel they're seeking. And if they need more counsel outside of church, we can, walk them to resources of like seeing a therapist and just getting extra help that we might not all be trained in. And so, just to circle back, I was I was one that hated any kind of suggestion of going to a therapist. I hated not being able to carry people's loads, because I'm always next level of things. So if somebody tells me, or like for me, since I was a child, when somebody's told me, "Oh, Christ can do it," and I'm like, "Yeah, Christ can do it, and will do it, and we're gonna get him to do it." I've always had that like mentality that anything I ask God, He'll give it to me, because the way I try to live my life is in accordance to Him. But in the last 3 years, I've been really bad, which explains why I I haven't I've been like wishy washy with my advocacy work, because when I thought that I was making buco differences, 1 to 100%, I was probably hitting like 15%. And then now I see like well, that was great. Um, and so, anyways, my point is that follow God's order in a long winded, about circled back way. It's like find your value in yourself without comparing yourself to others, and understand that, you know, you don't have to be boxed in and categorized. You can be whoever you want, but just figure out who is that. Like the slogan, I want to be like Mike. Instead of wanting to be like Michael Jordan, how about we all just try to be ourselves, is what I'm saying. And in being ourselves, that means following the order of Heavenly Father, but always having a backup plan, and understanding that if your backup plan doesn't work, Heavenly Father is guiding you. He's like walking you. You just gotta be humble enough to go that way. And so I think that was pretty much all that I wanted to share today. Because, like I said, I could go hours and hours, but I was hoping somebody would come in by now. But yeah, let's just say that this live is about you finding your value, you stepping out of your comfort zone and not getting boxed in, and you finding the Lord and what He wants you to do, and then following it. I had posted a thing right before I posted a thing saying that I'm going to do this live, and it talks about law of attraction. And I would say, if you believe in the law of attraction, just try super hard to keep it positive. I have this funny tattoo artist that I follow. His name is Winnie the Pooh, but he works for Frost City, and Frost City is owned by Fred Frost. He's Samoan, and he has a bunch of Polynesian men. Talented one, Lala Ellsworth. He's related. He's married to my cousin, whom I am related to. Awesome artwork, and a bunch of other guys that work for that shop. But Winnie, I forgot his real name. But anyways, if you guys look up that in Instagram, he is super positive. Now, we both live opposite lives. Like, his lifestyle is not like my lifestyle, but what is beautiful about that is that we're both trying to help people live a positive life. And he has this thing that he does every day. He's like, make your mother freaking bed. Everybody make their bed. And I had seen one of my favorite videos that you see on Gold Coast. It's a Navy, I believe he's Navy officer, and he says, like, if you don't make your bed every morning, you might think that it's something so small, but that something so small is something that you, if you do consistently every day, and not just like small kind fix your bed, but fix it like awesome, perfect, like something you would want to jump in at night. I'm paraphrasing, but he said, if you do that every day, you can leave every day saying that you at least accomplished something, if you didn't accomplish anything else on your list for that day. And so my bed is not on par of what Winnie and this Navy officer suggested, but my point in bringing that up is that be open, like, whoever you are, be open with who you follow, because there's so many people that are not like you or look like you that can bring value to your life as you can bring value to their life. And so that's the word for the day. Value, order, and pray. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Love you guys.